It is time for another edition of Flames Unfiltered. I am Brad Burud. That is Kyle Lewis. And this is a special one, Kyle. This is a special episode.
Big time.
We have a guest on the show today. Calgary Flames prospect Hunter Brzustewicz is on the show today. Excited to visit with him, learn a little bit about him, and see what our blue line is going to look like in the future. Right, Kyle?
Yeah, well, obviously is a huge piece of that. I mean, it's almost easy to forget, with the way that Kuzmenko played down the stretch, that Brzustewicz was the central piece of that whole trade for Elias Lindholm. So I'm super excited.
You look at that trade; that was a blockbuster trade, and you look at that, and we Lindholm goes to Vancouver. We get Kuzmenko, who many considered in that trade as a cap dump, right? Now he's proven to be pretty darn good here down the stretch here for us. So we're definitely not considering him a cap dump right at the moment here, but in essence, that really is kind of what it was, right?
That's how it started. I mean, now we kind of have this conundrum, and we'll talk about this throughout the summer, I'm sure. But what do? You get a guy that single-handedly elevated your power play. You get a guy that other teams would covet. Maybe not necessarily somebody you want to commit to long term. So there's a lot going on there.
In that trade, also we got Yanni Uramo, defenseman, a 2024 first-round pick, and a 2024 conditional fourth-rounder, and then our guest today, Hunter Brzustewicz. He's going to be. I mean, I'm really, really excited to see how developmental camp goes and training camp, because there's roster spots open, and it's going to be interesting to see where he fits into the mix.
Absolutely. I mean, as far as offensive-minded D-men go, he's as good as any prospect not already in the NHL. And that may sound like a bold statement if you watch him play this past season in Kitchener and look at his point totals and how eye-popping they are. I don't think anybody will disagree.
No, definitely. Led the league in assists and was in the top 10 in points. Hard to argue those numbers in a league like the OHL. Now, a couple other things, Calgary, we got to talk about. Calgary Flames announced an 11-year broadcast partnership extension with Sportsnet. Is anybody surprised here? Is anybody upset or happy, or what is it? Just
well, there was some people on X that seemed a little bit upset by it. Mostly because of blackout reasons. That's the biggest thing. But
Sportsnet the blackout reason, or is NHL the blackout reason? Because
technically NHL is.
Yes, because these blackout problems are not just Sportsnet related. Believe me, in the US, there's a lot of other problems too. So with blackouts. So I think that's a league problem, and I trust that it's a league problem that'll get addressed. I pray it is.
Well, it's not just that, though. I mean, when it comes to those issues as well, and you all know this being an American, I know it being an Eastern Canadian, is that there are different programs and services you can purchase to get around blackouts. Because I pay for it every year, and it's $200 a year. And if you love a team as much as I love the Flames, it's well worth it. So, but apart from that, the other question I would have to anybody who is upset by it, and not to say there was a lot of people, but I saw some comments here and there. Where else were they going to go?
Yeah. Where?
What's your plan B here? And I don't say that to sound defensive. I'm legitimately curious. What else could somebody suggest as a new home for the Flames? So, like I said, not surprising. Business as usual. 11 sounds like a funny number. You'd think like a 10-year or 12-year, like an odd number is a little strange, but I see no issue with it. I'm glad we'll be watching lots of Flames hockey and Sportsnet for years to come.
I agree. Speaking of watching hockey, the Wranglers.
Yeah.
They roll through Series 1 with a 2. I hate the AHL playoffs, but the format.
Yeah.
They win over Tucson. Game 1 goes 2-0 Calgary. We discussed that on last episode, which is just a few days ago. And then last night they win 4-3 over Tucson. That clinches that series. They head back to Calgary now. Games 1 and 2 will be in Calgary against Coachella Valley. That'll be at the Dome Friday night, Sunday late afternoon, and then they go on the road for 3, 4, and 5, all at Coachella Valley. That's where AHL TV comes in, and we can watch the Wranglers there.
Yeah. Now, that said, we should make at least a quick note of the win. Well, the winning goal, Willem Stromgren, was just an absolute thing of beauty. He walked 2 defenders essentially effortlessly. All of this after he had a very, very strong finish to the season. So all of a sudden, he, conceivably is climbing up our prospect rankings as well. So to see what kind of how the rest of his playoffs go. Maybe talking to him in the development camp and maybe while in the training camp.
This is 1 year, we've had so many years with the Stockton Heat that it was not that it was irrelevant watching them because it was still good hockey, but it was a little bit more irrelevant because a lot of those players didn't have a shot. There wasn't roster spots open. There wasn't. And right now we're looking at a lot of players, Pelche, Coronado, Sloviov. There's a lot of guys. I'm forgetting multiple ones, but that's okay. That we're watching. Cole Schmidt, that's another guy that had a real good game one. We're watching these guys, and these are guys that really are going to fill roster spots in the coming years, the real short coming years, and probably next year. So fun to see how they progress. Watching Dustin Wolf, Coronado. This is going to be a fun AHL playoffs to watch.
Oh, big time. Yep. No, and it's the last one in all likelihood for guys like Dustin Wolf, and a handful of others, possibly Jacob Peltier. Had he not been injured, Jeremy Poirier might be making the jump next year, and still could, mind you. But this is the finality of the AHL careers for, I would argue, probably 3-4, of the Flames top prospects. So we'll have to see how it plays out.
It'll be interesting. But without further ado, let's move on to our discussion with Hunter Brzustewicz. Joining Flames Unfiltered now, we'd like to welcome to the show newly acquired and signed defenseman Hunter Brzustewicz. Thank you for joining us today.
Oh, thanks for having me.
So, everything's happened so fast. You just finished your playoff series with the Kitchener Rangers, and right after that, you ink a deal with the Calgary Flames. Talk about your excitement level with that.
Yeah, obviously it was really tough ending to the season. We had a really great group in Kitchener. Without whatever outcome it was one of the best years of hockey I've ever had. But then getting Calgary, it was really cool just to know that I'm going to be going out there soon and at the time. And then once I got out here, it was really cool just meeting everyone, meeting the development staff, and it's been great. Everyone's really nice out here, so yeah, it's been great.
That's great. Oh, and what a year with Kitchener. Lead the league with 79 assists, 10th in points. I can't call it a breakout year because the year before, your first year in Kitchener was a super successful year. That year, I believe you had 57 points that year. So I can't say it's a breakout year, but boy, what a season for your team and yourself.
Thank you. Yeah, it was just I have to give all the credit to my teammates. They did a lot for me, made the game easy for me, and I just tried to do my thing, getting them the puck.
Well, you did a damn good job of it, that's for sure. So what were your thoughts like when the trade first went down with Calgary, coming from Vancouver to Calgary?
Yeah, it was kind of weird just because, before that, for the past prior to that, it was like the month before, I was just kind of saying to myself and saying to some people close around, I was just like, it would be kind of cool to be a part of an NHL trade. And I got my wish, I guess. And at first, I was just kind of shocked. I didn't really know how to feel. I didn't really know anything about Calgary, so I didn't know what to feel at first. But then everyone would just tell me how great it is and how great the organization and city is.
That's awesome. Yeah, we were quite surprised too when it went down. There was a lot of pieces in that trade, obviously, and you're largely considered to be the centerpiece of that. So one of the things Brad and I talked about, we wanted to ask you more specifically about. Your path is a little bit different than most. You're part of the U.S. development program, but you opted to play in the CHL instead of college. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, it was basically just a first year at the program. I got injured that whole year. I didn't play at all. So the second year, when I came back, I didn't get as much ice time. And then, going into college, it was just I needed to play more. I needed to catch up on games and ice time. So when I went up to visit Kitchener, it was just basically them showing me what I would play. And it was basically just two college seasons in one. And add on to that with playoffs and then just the minutes. It was like, I think we did the math, and it was like around triple the time I would just play.
Wow.
How was your fit being an American and moving up to Canada at such a young age, really? And was the transition to that really smooth for you?
Yeah, it was. I think just my teammates and builds made it great for me. One of my roommates was American, so that really helped a lot, and everyone was just so great around.
Oh, that's awesome. So yeah, one of the other things we're talking a fair bit about, actually just before we came on, was your game, and we're kind of wondering, like, who do you model your game after, like at the NHL level? Who are some guys that you kind of emulate?
Yeah, I think the past year and a half, I've said 3 guys, and it's always been John Klingberg, Adam Fox, and Rasmus Anderson.
Oh, that's a good fit then. Now, have you had a chance to talk to many of those guys yet, like to Rasmus or anybody else in the Flames organization that's playing D for them currently?
No, I have not. No, except one of the guys reached out, and it was super nice once I got traded.
Oh, cool, awesome.
So right now you're with the Calgary Wranglers as they're on their playoff run, and they just took care of Tucson in 2 games. What is your role right now with the Flames organization?
Yeah, just up here with the development staff, just working hard and grinding away. But we're just getting with them and getting to know people and getting to know me as a player in person. If they decide to call me up in practice or game, whatever it is, I'll be ready for it. And right now, just working hard in the gym and starting that summer training and whatever it is.
Sorry, Kyle. What's your initial impressions of Calgary?
It's all right. Like, I think the only thing I say it's all right is just because it's really dry right now. I think just like the altitude and stuff. The first day I was here, I was like, holy, like this is just, like my throat gets really dry and my mouth, my lips just get really chapped. And then like on the ice and working out, it's just takes a couple extra breaths to calm down.
Yeah, I was just out there in March, and I'm on the East Coast now, and I was out there in March, and you kind of forget about it if you haven't been there in a while, but it's different. If people haven't been there, it's very, very different.
Yeah, for sure. But then everyone else and just everyone outside of the rink and whatever it is, they've been super nice.
That's awesome.
There'll be some good golf courses opening up soon too, so you'll be excited about that, and that'll maybe have you like Calgary even more.
Yeah, hopefully.
Last year was you went to your developmental camp and training camp in Vancouver. This year you'll be going to the Calgary one. What can you take from like last year's developmental camp that'll help you transition this year and work towards the next step?
Yeah, I think honestly, just seeing the pros on how they prepare every day at the rink, going to main camp, it was just, the first year you don't really know what to expect, but the second year is just, you'll know what to expect kind of. And seeing the pros show up 30 minutes before you even get there, just on the team bus, it's truly really cool just to see how they go about their business. And it's honestly just, it's their job. So they're trying to be the best they can.
What do you think, like, what's going to be your biggest challenge this year going from juniors to professional hockey?
I mean, I'm truly confident in myself, but obviously it's just, I'm like the little guy in the pond right now. And just I'm going to try and make my fit, make my play style, match their play style. And hopefully I can just do the best I can, but hopefully I can just, get all the intangibles ready in the summer, obviously the noticeables of just getting stronger and faster. And then I think just being a pro, I think that's just like the biggest thing that everyone doesn't realize, but that's like the biggest thing in transition for sure. So
speaking of pros, I mean, I got to ask you this, because like prior to this trade, Nikita Zhorov was traded to Vancouver, and then as the Flames, became evident they were going to make the playoffs and some guys might be moving on. Obviously, they traded out some pretty big names. So in a lot of cases, you go into training camp and there's maybe 1 or 2 spots open, but this is kind of wide open, so to speak. So what was your feeling? Were you paying much attention when those trades went down? Did it cross your mind much, or where was your head at around all that?
Yeah, I think I was definitely paying attention a lot to it. I mean, it's my future, so I think anything of it's great, and I'm just confident in myself. Hopefully, I can do the best I can to show everyone what I'm capable of.
When you look at your game, and we've heard so much about your offensive talent and your offensive upside, and we can see the numbers and we can see the stats. Your defensive side of the game, how would you describe that?
Yeah, I think it's got a lot of work to do, and I think every part of my game's got a lot of work to do. But I think just using my feet and closing out quicker and just using my stick more and active and getting the box outs, those are the things I really have strived to work on, and I think they can just excel even more. This past year, it's been a big year for me in just defending and alone, and I think it's come a long way. It's got levels to come for sure.
So one of the things that we were kind of joking around about, because we heard this from a few different guys, but I guess you're a big Lego guy.
Yeah, huge.
So I don't know that there's two guys in any other organization that love Lego as much as you apparently do, and Yegor Sharangovich. So have you been around somebody like who's into it like you were before? Or?
No, honestly, I have not, and it's funny because my agent's always just texting me whenever the NHL posts about Sharangovich's Legos. He's like, it's just meant to be with hopefully soon be teammates, and hopefully, one day we can talk about it. But yeah, I like building them. Maybe I could see his collection, see what he's got going.
Love it.
You talk about funny things like that and everything, and I was watching a lot of video and just kind of learning about your game after the trade had happened, and I noticed, and this is probably going to be one of the craziest questions you're going to ask, but I noticed you only tape your stick about the first 4 inches on the toe. Talk to us a little bit about what the theory behind that is.
Yeah, no, I changed it this past year. I went to the full.
Oh, you did?
I did, but other than that, it's more of a mental thing for me on the tape jobs. Just the way if it's a full blade tape job, I think my stick is shorter versus if I only go the 4 strips at the top, it definitely seems longer to me.
Okay, that's an interesting response to that. I mean, but it's funny, isn't it funny how hockey is so mental too, though? There's so many aspects of the game, whether it's routines or, are you do you have to follow the same routines on game day and eat the same things, or are you not quite like that? But it is funny how it is mental.
I would like to say I'm not, with the routine stuff, but there are definitely things that I do on the ice and off the ice before the game, for sure.
I love it.
What was your favorite? Who was your favorite player growing up?
Definitely Nick Lindstrom. Just watching him as a Detroit fan.
So, were you a Red Wings fan and a Tigers fan and a Lions fan?
For sure, 100%. And then I got each sport I have like a player that I follow, and that's also my second favorite team, I guess.
Okay.
You said second favorite, so who's your first?
Well, obviously I have all the Detroit teams. That's my favorite teams.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then growing up, I was a big Tom Brady fan. I'm wearing a Brady sweater right now.
Nice.
And then Kevin Durant for basketball, and Giancarlo Stanton for baseball, and Jamie Benn for hockey.
Jamie
Nice.
Benn, huh?
Yeah.
That's a good pick. I like that.
Yeah, definitely was a force out there. Well, still is a force. Hopefully they can see what happens in that playoff series. How are you in tune a lot with the Stanley Cup playoffs? Are you watching a lot?
Oh, for sure. Every day, I guess, just in the hotel room, just watching, putting it on for sure.
Have you been able to, since your time out in Calgary, have you met a lot of the guys? You got able to, get out in the city and see it a little bit?
I've got to see the city. I haven't met really anyone. Once I got here, they all kind of left and had to go to Arizona. But yeah, I went downtown with a couple other guys that we're skating with, and we just had dinner and walked around.
Cool.
So fast forward into next year, and obviously you have a busy off season of training this year. What are you looking at as your goals heading into a developmental camp and in training camp? Because this is going to be a whirlwind summer, because it's kind of one thing after another, pretty much from now until we drop the puck to start the season. But what are your goals heading into next season?
Yeah, I think just like I was pointing out earlier, is just become a pro. I think that's just the biggest thing. Learning how pros go about their game and on the ice and off the ice, just showing up to the rink and whatever it is, preparing yourself for workouts and skates.
What do you, when you look at a career in the NHL, I mean, that's what every kid dreams about. And I'm sure that's what you dreamt about as a young kid. Where do you want to see that progress? I mean, what's your long-term thoughts of an NHL career? What has you super excited?
I mean, I haven't thought about it that much, but I mean, hopefully just getting as long as I can to play and ultimately, obviously, win a Stanley Cup. I think that's just everyone. That's why we all play hockey, is just to win. And I love winning, and that's the best thing to do.
You mentioned, childhood earlier and growing up a sports fan. What other sports did you play growing up?
I didn't really play much. I tried baseball. I tried football. It didn't really work out just because of hockey schedules. But obviously playing golf throughout my whole childhood, really learning at a young age, living on a golf course. So that really helped. But I love watching all other sports.
Sure. So what got you into hockey? I mean, did your family play hockey? And
no, I'm the first one in my family to play hockey. It was just, I guess, one day. My mom tells me this every time. One day passing by a rink and I asked her what it was, and she said it was a hockey rink. And that day I asked to go get tryouts and on just skating, and I passed all 10 levels the first day. So
wow.
No way, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Natural from the start.
I guess that was a sign, right? Huh?
might have been.
So I'm guessing that's how your brother kind of got into it too, right? Because he's different type of defenseman, but obviously has a pretty promising career ahead of him as well. So I'm assuming he emulated you quite a bit growing up.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, he's. I'm still his favorite player for sure.
So your brother plays for the London Knights, and am I correct on that?
Yeah, sadly.
So how did that go over in the family a week and a half ago when that series ended?
No, yeah, I mean, we talked every day throughout the season, but once we figured out that we were playing each other in the playoffs, we stopped all communication, and there was just no talking. My family, they knew who they all wanted, and that team didn't come out on top, so it's all right.
That's good though that you guys could have a lot of fun with that, and I mean that it's quite a good accomplishment to have one of your siblings playing at that high a level against you. It's got to be a little bit of fun too, huh?
Yeah, it is pretty cool just messing around with him after the game and whatever it is. He always tries to get under my skin just because I don't know what it is, but he's always firing pucks at me during warm-ups, and I just look at it and laugh.
So have you guys resumed communication since the series ended?
Yeah, we have, for sure.
Okay, that's good.
So when the trade went down and you saw names like Elias Lindholm and Kuzmenko and then of course yourself, I mean, you mentioned earlier you wanted to be part of an NHL trade. Did you think you'd be part of I don't, you consider this one a blockbuster kind of? Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, when it first happens, like you don't really know what to think and what to expect of just everything in general. But then once you kind of look back at it and you just think about it as a person, not really a hockey player, it is really cool just to be, have your name with any organization or any player in the NHL. Just looking at it as a fan, it is really cool just to think about as a kid. I probably would have never thought I would be in this position.
So how did you find out about it? Was it from your agent or from the Flames, or how'd that come about?
Yeah, it was. I was playing Fortnite and I was top 10, so I had to leave my game. But it was. My agent calls me and he's just like, "Hey, keep your eyes on the phone." And I knew the trade was happening just because an hour before they posted that Lindholm was going to the Canucks. And I asked him, I was just like, "Am I getting traded?" He's like, "I honestly have no clue." And then 2 seconds later, the GM from the Canucks just texted me and was just like, "Hey, give me a call when you get a chance."
Jeez, and even paused your game for a while.
So were you disappointed or were you happy?
Was I disappointed I lost the Fortnite game or? No, I mean,
priorities, right?
Definitely happy. I mean, it's always a good feeling when a team trades for you. And it was just in the moment, it was weird for sure, just because I had no experience with Calgary at all and really the city. But yeah, definitely looking back at it, I'm definitely really excited.
At that point, you were just being traded to Calgary and you weren't signed or anything. Now, you put ink to, pen to paper here a couple weeks ago. What was the process of determining what was the whole signing process like?
Yeah, it was just, it's all different just because I was a late birthday, but yeah, it was really fun and really cool to be honest. It was just a lot of learning throughout what goes into a contract and how it goes about. And my agent did an excellent job with the negotiations and just explaining to me what happens. And yeah, it was really cool just to learn from him and see how everything just goes about and how everything falls down.
Well, definitely an exciting time for yourself and your family for that matter. And we're super excited to have you as a Calgary fan, and can't wait to see where this progresses, and hopefully you're quarterback in a power play in Calgary real soon.
Hopefully that's the goal.
So we keep a pretty heavy social media presence too, especially on X, or as we still like to call it, Twitter. I'm guessing your follows must have blown up in the days following that trade.
Yeah, I mean, I got a few. I mean, I don't really go on Twitter that much. I don't really post, but I go on it just to see what's going on with whatever it is, whoever's posting. But Instagram, I got a few hundred followers, maybe.
Yeah, nice. It's awesome. And the other thing we wanted to ask you, actually, because we talked about this before, and we mentioned Rasmus Anderson, but why number 4? Because I believe you've worn that for pretty much your entire career, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I haven't worn 4. Just, I mean, with the program, the first year you're not allowed to, so I don't really. I guess I would count that, but yeah, I think just when I was young, I was a lot of numbers, to be honest. I was like 8, 40, 91, 24, and then once 24 happened, I just went to 4, and it's just kind of been my number since.
Oh, cool.
Kyle's a big jersey guy, so he's probably gonna be more interested to see what jersey number you select in Calgary than your first week of play. We always give him a hard time because he's such a jersey number guy. I'll say number 36, he'll be like, "Oh, there's been 6 guys number 36."
Nice.
He's the only guy that'll know that. But if you ever need any number advice, get a hold of him. So.
Nice.
So what are your plans for the summer?
Yeah, I mean, just obviously the typical get stronger, faster, and working hard, but hopefully just enjoy it with my family. They've put everything into hockey for me, and hopefully I can just repay it back and by just spending time with them and having fun. And yeah, I mean, golfing hopefully a lot, and just hanging out with my brother and girlfriend and my family for sure.
Good. Developmental camp will be right around the corner, so you'll be busy, and then into training camp. Last year you got to skate in the Vancouver training camp and play with all of the Vancouver players. What was the experience like the first time you lined up for a face off and looked across the ice at some of those players, or looked on your own team at some of the bigger name guys? Was it quite an experience?
Yeah, it honestly was just walking into the locker room and seeing who's in there is like, wow, like this is pretty cool. Just taking a step back and realizing it for a moment, like as a kid, just like this is really cool.
Yeah, it's it's got to be a huge learning experience for you, and we're super excited to have you in Calgary now, and I can't wait to watch your game progress over the developmental camp and into training camp and see where it leads. And there is definitely roster spots open, so that's got to excite you.
Yeah, it does. I just hopefully I can do my best to show what I'm capable of, and yeah, I'm just gonna give it my all.
Well, enjoy your time in Calgary. We really, really appreciate you hopping on the show and visiting with us today, and getting to know you a little bit and getting a glimpse of what the future on the blue line in Calgary will be.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me as well.
Man, how do you think he scored on his likability on his scouting report? What a nice guy, man. That was fun. It was super fun. I mean, I'd heard that because we got a couple people in common, I guess. But yeah, what a great guy.
I'm looking forward to seeing what developmental and just his progression this year with so many roster spots open. It's going to be fun because who's the last? So think about this, and we talked to him a little bit about this and his offensive capabilities. Name me the last offensive prospect that we've been that high on their offensive side
that actually signed here.
Yeah, you didn't bring up him, did you?
Well, I didn't. Hunter did. Probably Adam Fox, honestly.
Yeah. Because this is a whole different offensive ability than we ever talked about with Valimaki or Shillington.
Well, it's next level. I mean, the way he sees the ice, the way he moves the puck, like it's a whole other level, in terms of offensive defenseman. Like he's right up there with the best of them, certainly at the level he's at now, and could be comparable to some of the best guys in the NHL at moving the puck too, so and piling up points. So I don't, apart from Fox, I'm not really sure. I know. I mean, honestly, probably Phaneuf, but he wasn't as exciting for as many offensive reasons, right?
I always thought of Phaneuf as offensively gifted, but not. I mean, he still to me was a big-bodied, bruising defenseman.
But that's what I mean. Yeah, and that's what he was known for at the World Juniors, or the double Dion thing with Pierre Maguire. Like anyway,
when I watch highlights of Hunter or games of him playing in Kitchener this year, I as much as I make fun and ride on Quinn Hughes, there's a lot of similarities, isn't there?
Yeah, but that's the trade-off, right? I mean, he mentioned Nick Lidstrom, Ray Bourque. Like, there's only a handful of guys that are that good offensively and defensively, and they're absolute legends in this game, right? So, and even Giordano, who you've got as your backdrop for the show, he was excellent on both sides of the puck as well. So, you kind of got to temper your expectations a bit, and you got to take a bit of the good with the bad. I mean, obviously at this point we have no idea, what Hunter looks like at the NHL level, but the offensive skills are already, I think, on par with a lot of the best.
But I'll be honest, I'm not really worried defensively. I mean, he's targeted that as an area that of importance. And if you look at this plus minus, you don't get a plus minus in Kitchener playing against quality teams that they play against on accident, right?
No, exactly. I mean, it's obviously something. I think he's already put a lot of work into the defensive side of his game. But the fact that he sees it. I mean, we all know what he's capable of offensively, but to be a well-rounded defenseman, I mean, there's not many guys that are really good at it at that young of an age. Noah Hannafin came into the league at 18, for example, and it was a few years in before he really kind of got his head around that, so to speak. Because it's just so different at the pro level. I mean, you're defending the best players in the world. So,
yes.
It makes all the sense in the world. That's the last, skill set, so to speak, you're going to really, really hone.
Yeah. An interesting conversation. It was really fun to get that time to visit with him and get to know him. And
the guy's a beauty. Just use an overused hockey term. The guy's an absolute beauty.
Draft lottery. The date has been set. Tuesday, May 7th, we are going to find out. The balls will be in the, what do you call it anymore? The bingo hopper, what do you call it? I don't even know what the hell you call that.
I don't know. Anyway.
I don't know. But
what do we have? 6%?
5%.
5. Not even 5. Anyway, all right. I'm going to be in meetings in St. John that night. Hopefully back in my hotel room by then, so I can tune into that. But we pretty well know we're going to be like picking 9th or 10th. But still, there's a chance. It's just like the playoff race. Until you're out, you're not really out.
San Jose has the best chance at 18.5. Chicago 13.5. Anaheim 11.5. Columbus 9.5. We go down the list that includes the Canadiens, Utah. That sounds crazy. I wanted to say that.
Yeah.
Senators, Kraken, then us. And I don't know. I'll do a draft simulator. One quick. Oh, shit. I just did the NBA draft simulator. So, we're not coming up on that. So, holy cow, Kyle. What's going on in my world? All right. I can't even get the NHL one. That means we're not winning it. But that being said, we have a 5% chance, and we are drafting in the top 10, which is exciting. And the Iginla name keeps being talked about. Yeah. And we'll see. We'll see where it goes, and we'll see what happens. But this looks to be a very exciting draft for the Flames.
Yeah, lots of picks. Not the deepest draft on record, but some really good players available, and one very sentimental, really good player in TJ Iginla. So that's a possibility. Yeah.
If I put you on the spot though, Kyle, and I said, all right, throw names aside, what is the key target that we need the most?
Skill.
Well, skill what? Like
offensive skill. Let me clarify that. But like skilled players, like we talked a lot, and a lot of people.
But our wings are so jammed up. Like I think we need a strong center, which they're tough to find. We need a first, second line center, and we need a big, strong-bodied defenseman. Those are my
the latter. If they have NHL mobility, is a lot easier to find than a center, because centers are so hard to project, almost like goaltenders, the NHL level, right? So now, that said, I'm going to have a little footnote here. I am very excited about Sam Morton scoring a goal the other night for the Wranglers. We just recently signed him as well, and there's some potential there. There's, the kid's worth a long look as well. So we might have some options internally, but yeah, if there's a good, good size, good hand center available that hopefully we can develop the right way, then that's the direction we need to go in. Because I agree, we do have lots of skill on the wings, but I do think regardless of position at forward, the Kuzmenko trade showed just if we had just a bit more skill, like if that power play rolled along at fifth in the league all year, we're talking playoffs right now.
Yeah, I know. Right? Yeah, we said it last year too, and you're totally right. You're totally right. It's just going to be interesting to see where we go. When 2 years ago we were looking at our centers and it was just like boom, solid all the way down, and now it's like
yeah,
there we go. We got Hanzik that's going to fit in on the wing here in the future, and it's just going to be interesting.
Yeah, and like I don't know if you saw that. I can't remember who tweeted it, but the whole star power argument in the NHL. So teams that I don't know how they even quantify it necessarily, but the teams that had at least, I think it was 2 star players, like 85% chance of being in the playoffs, and teams that didn't, like almost every one of them except for one wasn't in the playoffs. So as much as it's a team game, you've got to have a couple of those stud players to really,
we need a driver. We need a number one center that'll or number 1-2 center that'll drive a line, right? I mean, that's just what we need. And then we also need we need a Chris Tanev. We do.
Well, we could have some options internally, including the guy that came back in the Tanev trade. But again, there's some development involved there, right? So I think between the draft, development camp, training camp, I mean, look at the guys that emerged this year. We never thought, Connor Zary, Martin Pospisil. There's a good chance we have another 1 or 2 do it next year. Maybe this is a different conversation. Positivity.
Is there a trade or is there a free agent signing that happens?
To be honest with you, I have barely even looked at who's available free agents this summer, but that's going to be a hot topic for us much sooner than later.
And let's talk about that. We got, as we roll into off season here, we're going to do shows. I believe we're going to do 9 shows over the off season. The next one we'll be discussing where we landed in the draft lottery. We'll do player grades. And we've got a Flames fan poll that we're going to be doing here in the end of May that I'm excited to see what the fans thought of this season. We'll talk NHL playoffs, off-season game plan, review the awards, draft, all kinds of things to talk about over the off-season. Just because there is no Flames hockey doesn't mean that Flames Unfiltered goes away. We're here. We're talking Flames hockey all summer, just not every single week. We got to reset a little bit also so that we can come back and hit it real hard at September 1.
I had a lot of really bad analogies that almost came out of my mouth for things that never go away, but I digress.
We could probably have a show on that right now.
Probably better if we don't, Brad.
Probably better. All right, let's get back. Let's get back to our weekend. Flames fans, we appreciate all of you, and thanks for all the listens and all the reaching out on socials that we've gotten, and then just lately it's been crazy. We appreciate it.
Very much.
Enjoy your off season. Make sure you tune in. And that's it.
Talk sooner than later.
We're talking sooner than later.
Enjoy the playoffs.
Thanks for listening to Flames Unfiltered with Brad Burud and Kyle Lewis, your source for unfiltered Calgary Flames hockey talk. Keep it locked on flamesunfiltered.ca. Subscribe where you get all your podcasts to never miss an episode. Flames hockey talk every week, presented by Inside Edge Hockey Media Group.